Hey, business building warrior. Thanks for joining me today. Let's hang out for a few minutes. It's just you and me, no guests today. But there's a common theme. I've actually seen it over the past 24 years among e-commerce warriors like you and me, people who are saying to themselves, hey, I want to earn a little extra money online. What's out there? And then they start down that journey. And as you've probably figured out by now, if you've been on that road any length of time at all, there's an abundance of scams and clowns and con artists and pitfalls, all kinds of garbage out there that you can get yourself into. I would actually be so bold as to say 90% of what's out there is pretty much garbage. And I've told you before how to avoid the garbage. It's not hard. It's actually fairly easy. And that's not the point of today's episode, by the way, but I do want to talk just real briefly for those who are kind of wandering in the wilderness. We call it shiny object syndrome. An interesting ad or Facebook post or Instagram reel or TikTok video hops on your feed and suddenly you're off for the next few weeks drifting into something interesting and you end up figuring out, oh, well, that's not for me. And then here it's actually a scam or I can't trust that person and here's why. How do you avoid that? It's very easy to avoid that spinning in random circles, chasing opportunity online. Here's what you do. One pastor I heard put it this way: find your people, then find your purpose. I like that. What's that mean? Applied practically to finding a great business online. Well, here's what it means. Ask the people who are presenting the opportunity to you one simple question. That question is this: where do your successful students hang out? Where are those people who have followed what you teach and they're implementing it in their lives, using it every day, doing the business? Where do they congregate? Because I want to go hang out with them before I spend any money with you. And what you're going to hear 90% of the time is either, hey, we don't offer that here. We like to protect their privacy, right? Like that's just their way of saying those people don't really exist. Or they're going to say, nothing. They may say nothing. They may not respond, which is what you'll probably get most of the time when you ask hard questions. Or they'll say what we say here, which is, hey, join our 82,000 member Facebook group. We've got people we coached 20 years ago in that Facebook group. We've got people who joined our community just a few weeks ago, and they're excited to see the progress. And we've got people like you who are just checking it out, asking questions, transparently seeing the answers. That's what we do here. It's rare. It's very rare. It's actually, if you're selling a scam, it's a pretty big career risk, isn't it? To put all your students in one big room and let them talk to each other. Well, the good news is we're not selling a scam here. We're changing lives all the time. You've heard hundreds of those episodes. And on this podcast, you've heard those interviews. You could scroll back and hear them. Over 1,060 episodes, hundreds and hundreds. The vast majority are interviews with successful students. Those are the people hanging out in our Facebook group as well. Go experience it. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. Go see for yourself. But once you've nailed that down, can you afford to learn even a really good system on your own? What's the cost? What's the difference in, say, investing a few dollars in a good coach or good courses, a good step-by-step system? What's the difference in doing that versus spending no money and just figuring it out yourself over time? And to be clear, I fully believe if you're of average intelligence and average ambition, you can figure out the stuff we do around here over time on your own. But I'm going to be so bold as to call that the really, really hard way. And you're thinking, well, Jim, it doesn't cost me any money. That sounds better than spending money. Well, you're actually going to lose a lot more money going down that road. I'm not saying you can't do it, but time is your most limited asset. You're going to spend a whole lot of it figuring it out on your own, kind of randomly drifting around our community, listening to podcast episodes, asking slightly awkwardly worded questions in our Facebook group, hoping to get good answers and the secret formula. If I'll just do this, this, and this, surely it can't be that complicated. Tell me what buttons to push, everyone. When you come in as a new seller and you ask those questions, we're happy to help. We're happy to reshape you and point you in the right direction. We do that all day, every day for free in our Facebook group. But you're going to be so much better off if you're willing to spend a few dollars, not a lot, but a few dollars on proven training. Why do we charge money for it? Well, because the large support team who stands behind this community, they have families, They have lives, they have bills to pay, and they spend a lot of time helping people with their questions and building robust support systems. The learning platform that we have, the hosting, the team that we have, the support, all of that all costs money. There's overhead to run this organization to provide all the free services we provide. So we do have to start charging money at some point. What do we charge money for? We charge money for those step-by-step processes, for that individual attention or that small group attention that can really get you going in the right direction. So we're super excited today to present to you, can you afford to do trial and error? Can you afford to go it alone and figure this out over time? What are you going to hit if you go that road? Well, first thing, there's going to be a lot of common mistakes you're going to make, odds are, because you're going to make assumptions and you're going to make guesses. And we've actually compiled a list. You can go to silentjim.com/mistakes, silentjim.com/mistakes. That's a shortcut link that sends you right to a Facebook post in our group where we've listed out the mistakes you're most likely to make. So if you're going to go it alone and not spend any money on your education, please read over that list and avoid that list at all costs. We've really put a lot of time into that. There's a podcast episode referenced at that link as well. You can go listen to it. That list has grown a little bit over time. There's a lot of common mistakes. Things like trying to import from China, trying to source from overseas to build your business. There's a lot of rabbit trails you can go down that lead to dead ends and expensive mistakes as a new seller. And we list them all out. I'm not going to go through the list right now, but it's a long list. So check that out if you're going to go it alone. You can avoid the things on that list by having a mentor, having someone hold your hand, or following a proven process. That's what we do in the Proven Amazon course and in our coaching. We give you a proven process. We hold your hand at each step. The next thing you're going to run into if you try to do it alone is, like I mentioned earlier, you've got a much, much longer learning curve. I don't know about you, but if I have the opportunity to do something in a few days instead of it taking a few months or longer, but it costs me some money to do it in a few days, it's something I want, and I can get it done in a few days instead of a few months, well, that's going to be worth it pretty much every time, unless the cost is so astronomical that it's ridiculous. But in this case, we're not talking a lot of money. We're talking about a few dollars per month for the Proven Amazon course, for example, step-by-step hand-holding versus figuring out over time, never knowing if you're getting good advice or not, never knowing if this is going in the right direction or not, as opposed to spending a few dollars and going in the right direction. So it's going to take you a lot longer. The learning curve is going to be longer, which means you're probably going to run out of momentum. One of the things that we've observed about human behavior is if you don't get in any early wins, you're less likely to stick with it. Think of trying to pick up a new sport, for example. Golf is a good example. It's one of those challenging sports that people say, it looks simple enough. You watch guys on TV, you just whack the ball around, right? Well, you get out there and you try to actually make contact. It's rough. It's hard. But the first time you swing that club nice and smooth and make contact with the ball and it goes sailing the distance that you were hoping it would in the right direction, even if the next 12 balls you hit don't go where you wanted them to, and that doesn't happen, there's something inside of you that goes, wow, okay, that was kind of cool. The earlier you can have that experience, the more likely you are to stick with it. That's the same in business. It's human nature. So we want you to get those wins as early as possible, because if it takes you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to get that first win, to get that first $500 week, to get that first nice paycheck for your efforts, you're just going to run out of steam. You're going to hop around from shiny object to shiny object. Well, getting good instruction, having a mentor, going through our courses and curriculum, that's going to get you early wins. We really focus on that. One of the things we do early on, if you're a Proven Amazon course student, is we invite you into a Kickstart group. And in that Kickstart group, the goal is find a product, ship it in, and sell it. One early win. Even if you break even, you've got the feel of the swing of that golf club. You've made contact for the first time. You say, okay, I can do this. This is possible. We want that for you as early as possible. If you go it alone, it's going to be possibly quite some time before that happens. All right, so what's next? You're going to end up with a bunch of unnecessary tools if you go it alone. You're going to fall for all the ads and people saying, oh, you need this tool and that tool and this service, and you got to sign up for this software, and you're going to be all over the place. And before you know it, you're going to have a monster of a collection of different apps and services and tools. That's not the way to go. We like to keep it super simple here. If you follow good instruction, you're not going to end up in that pit hole. Next, bad inventory. Man, this is one that made my list as I was thinking this through because it is one of the most common mistakes that we see people make. I was talking to someone just last week. They said, "Yeah, I've been kicking around this Amazon business idea, and I watched a few TikTok videos, watched a few Instagrammers who are doing this stuff, and someone mentioned they'd placed a big order on Temu for iPhone covers, and man, I figured I'd just go ahead and do that. I got them at a great discount. I didn't pay hardly anything for them. Now I just got to get them listed. Can you guys help me list those on Amazon so I can make some money?" That was their opening question. If you're new around here, maybe you don't recognize there's about 15 things wrong with that story. And I told her this to her face, and we had a great conversation. But I said, the odds of you ever making a penny of profit back on those cases is so slim. You'll be lucky to break even selling them at a yard sale. You've jumped in over your head. You've gone off the wrong end of the diving board into the wrong part of the swimming park. You made a series of really bad judgments there, unfortunately, because you tried to go it alone. Don't use your instinct. Don't guess. Follow a system. So bad inventory is almost an inevitability. Stuff stacked up in your garage that you just can't sell, stuff that you felt good about, stuff that you felt passionate about. Oh, I want to sell this because I'm passionate about that product. Those are huge mistakes as you're getting into e-commerce and Amazon selling. It's what we've seen over and over. Remember, we've got over 2 decades of experience here. We've seen all the ways it can go wrong, and that's what usually happens to people who try to go it alone. All right, so what's the last one I've got on my list? This is a shorter episode, but I've got one left. And I think it's a big one. You may discount it as less than relevant, but I think it's a big deal. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And it's isolation, loneliness. E-commerce by design is isolating. And we are not built for isolation. We are not built to be alone. We are built for community. We thrive. We work best. We function best when we're surrounded by others taking a journey with us. I reference often, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, take a team. Speed is of no use if you're not going in the right direction. If you try to go fast by yourself, you probably won't be going in the right direction. You just won't. If you take a team, better yet, a team of people who have been there and done that and have proven that they're worth listening to, they've proven they're worth spending time with. They've got a whole bunch of success stories and evidence that, hey, they know what path to be on, and you go with them. Now, maybe you're going to go a little slower, not much. Actually, you're going to arrive at your destination far sooner because you're more equipped. You're not fighting loneliness. You're not fighting isolation. You're not fighting burnout. You're doing it with others. That's what we do here. We do not see you as a competitor in this game. We see you as a fellow business building warrior that we want to equip for success. And we know that your success will inspire and encourage even more of us to even greater heights of success. It's a very much an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset that we have here. And that's the advantage of not going it alone. That's the advantage of not going the trial and error route. Do it with others. You're going to go further faster. You're going to make fewer mistakes. It's going to cost you a lot less money. That's what we do here. And we would love to be of service to you. If you're not quite convinced, if you're skeptical, if you're a little concerned that, maybe you've been burned before or you heard about someone else who got burned, I understand. Take your time. Get into our Facebook group. See if you've ever seen or experienced anything like that group. People being encouraging, inspirational, posting their success posts. We have over 3,000 posts in their Facebook group. People saying, whoa, this works. Hey, look, guys, this just happened. Everything from just had my first $100 week to just had my first $100,000 month. Everything in between, all day, every day of the week, people supporting and encouraging, posting results, sharing what works. And the reason we can do that, just if you weren't aware, is because we're playing in such a massive, expansive blue ocean of opportunity. I mean, imagine a massive blue ocean of fishing opportunities and a few fishermen thinking they're competing with the other guys when there's fish everywhere. There's opportunity everywhere, and it's continuing to expand. Here's what I mean by that. If you haven't heard these statistics, it's worth mentioning. I mention it frequently, but it really paints a picture of this blue ocean that we're in right now. E-commerce is still far less than 20% of all retail spending in the United States. Rewind it, listen to that again if you didn't catch me. Numbers are hard to do sometimes over an audio. E-commerce is less than 20% of retail spending. It's still a tiny piece of the pie. Amazon, people think that it's taken over the world. No, it's about 8 or 9% of all retail spending in the United States. That number is going to rocket up over time. It's climbing every quarter. E-commerce is exploding, but the game has barely begun. There's room for everyone who's ready to do the work. There are millions of products right now that are unstocked or are severely understocked that are very popular products that people want and they buy many times every month, but they're understocked or unstocked in Amazon's massive 250 plus warehouse network in the United States. That's huge opportunity. You don't have to go invent anything. You don't have to import anything. You don't have to create some new products. You're just going and moving products from point A to point B, from a place of lower perceived or actual value to a place of higher perceived or actual value. So people can click a button and have it on their porch in 2 hours. Amazon doesn't do all that shopping and filling of their own shelves. We do. Resellers do. That's approximately half of the transactions on Amazon any given day is easily sourced everyday items. People could have gone to Walmart and paid maybe even a little less or quite a bit less for the same items, but the customers, the shoppers, they want speed. We help fill those shelves. That's what we do here. That's our base core business model. And that leads to so many other great opportunities once you understand the basics. But you got to grasp the basics first. And then those doors of opportunity open up. Things like launching your own brand, helping another brand get launched on Amazon and getting paid well to do it. Huge success stories from our students following these different models. Maybe you approach a brand and you work with them to become the exclusive seller in all of e-commerce and on Amazon. And because you know e-commerce, you know this world. They make product. They don't like this world. They don't understand Amazon. Well, you do. All kinds of unique opportunities begin to open once you know the basics. Or you could just build a beautiful business that provides you the extra income and do just the Amazon reselling models that we teach here. All kinds of opportunities open to you, but we want to start you with the basics. We do not want you to waste your time and money trying to figure this out on your own when there's such inexpensive resources here for you to hold you by the hand, get you going in the right direction. Let's talk about it. You have a couple options here. Here's your call to action, okay? A couple options. One, if you're ready to get started, you know, like, and trust us enough to spend a few dollars, get over to provenamazoncourse.com. For just a few dollars per month, you get our entire library. It's a learning library stuffed with everything you'll ever need. And if you're new, we take you by the hand into our getting started roadmap, one baby step at a time, check the boxes, go through the process, ship that first product. We'll take you through that full iteration, getting set up, seeing how it works, showing you how to find product. We'll walk you through the whole process. If you want to do that with a small group of others, we've got an option for you to do that as well for just a few dollars. If you want a coach to hold you by the hand and do this, you get all that same content and opportunity, but you actually have someone from our team who's very successful at doing this stuff. And they will hold you by the hand during their free time. You get on their schedule because they're busy running a business, but they carve out enough time each week to take a few students. We got about 60 coaches right now, and they will hold your hand and walk you through these processes. That's what we do here. Everything from free content to low price to, hey, let's hold your hand one-on-one and give you all the time and attention you need to go as far as you can, as fast as you can in the right direction. So give us a call. Let's talk about it. Go to silentjimdotcom/book a call. Let's have a chat. We're so proud of that coaching program and the results that we're getting for our students. Maybe it'd be a good fit for you as well. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. Hopefully I've convinced you that it's probably not worth going it alone. I don't think you can afford to go alone unless you have all that time to make all those mistakes that you'll regret later and fix it all as you go. I mean, it could take quite some time. And we see people do it, and that's great, and we're proud of them. But in almost all cases, what they end up doing is coming back and saying, man, I wish I'd have just gotten good instruction, gotten some good advice, and just got some hand holding. So it didn't take me 9 months to get this thing up and rocking to where it is now. We'd love to help you. God bless you, business building warrior. We're here to serve you. We're so grateful for you listening. Hey, share our show with others if you don't mind. Send them to silentjimdotcom. That's how we grow. We don't advertise this podcast anywhere. We just rely on word of mouth. That's you telling others, hey, you want to make some extra money, get an extra stream of income going, maybe build an incredible business. These are the guys to listen to. We always appreciate those referrals. Thank you so much for that. Our show continues to grow because of you. We'll have more good episodes for you with great interviews with our successful students very soon. We'll talk to you then.